Hey, it's Jennifer from Quiltin', Stitchin', and Kitties. I was thinking about a new project last week, and I have always wanted to make a quilt with circles on it. I know that sounds ridiculously easy, but I never did it. And I don't want them to be symmetrical. I want them to be random, and I want to have random fabric. So I thought, this is a good time. But appliquing circles onto a quilt is definitely not one of my strong points. I'm not sure if you can hear Sherlock in the background, but she's calling me. I don't know what she wants. She always wants something. I just fed her. So anyway, I decided to do an experiment, and I'm going to bring you along. What I did is I figured out 8 different methods of doing applique on a quilt. And I tried them. I've decided, I think, which methods I like the best, and I'm going to show you what they are. So here we go. So these are my practice ones. They're not going on the quilt, but they're for practice. The first method right here, what I did is I bought some heavy freezer paper from Amazon because it was recommended in a couple of things that I saw. It wasn't super expensive. It was 50 sheets for about $9. So then what I did is I cut out a circle from the freezer paper, and then I took a piece of fabric and I added between 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch seam allowance to it. Then I put the paper with the wax side to the back side of this fabric, pressed it really well, and then I pressed the edges over the freezer paper, and to get them to stay, I used a little bit of sew-line glue. So I put glue on the inside of the edges, and then I pressed. Now, I left the freezer paper in before I hand appliqued it. So what you have to do then is cut a slit in the back and pull the freezer paper out. That's an older method. And at first I got kind of anxious going, I don't really want to cut my fabric. But then the more I thought about it, it doesn't really matter. I've got this fabric on the front, and so I've got a full layer, so it's okay. So the circle came out pretty well. And that was okay. My second method was to use something called Quilters Select Print and Piece Fuse Light. So it's like a lightweight interfacing. It's got sticky on one side, and what's supposed to happen to it is 50% of it is supposed to wash away after you wash it. So that acted as my base. Well, I learned about that from a class that I took with a lady called Elizabeth Fender, I can't remember which one, and this was the applique project. So it was the first time I had ever managed to get any turned edge applique to come out halfway decent. And the way you put that on is you put the edges over the circle of the fusible, and then you use these tools called Applique, and these tools allowed you to, with the fork, hold down the fabric, and with this edge, flip over the edges. And I also used sew-line glue on those edges. That one came out very nice. It obviously has some stiffness to it right now. So if you're never going to wash the project, then I'm not sure that's what you want to use. But my circle came out pretty well. My next one was I used cardstock just regular old cardstock like you can make cards with. I think I got this at Joann's before it closed. And I cut out a circle. I cut out this fabric and allowed a good edge on it. I glued it to the paper. I pressed it like crazy. Then I very carefully unpeeled the edges, pressed again, and then hand appliqued it to here. My edges are pretty good. I can see a little point right there, but they came out pretty well. So all I needed for that was a little cardstock and a little sew line glue. Okay, my next method right here was called Applique. They come in this nice little bag, and basically what they are is they're rings that fit inside of each other. So I took the biggest ring they had, and this is how big the circle turns out to be. So you basically lay a piece of fabric on top. Oops, I got that the wrong way. Piece of fabric on top, stick it like this, push it down, trim, so you're just have a little bit of seam allowance. Spray it with some sort of starch, and then press it over with an iron. And then when it's dry, then you pop these out. That one came out pretty well. Not too difficult. The next one was Karen K. Buckley's Perfect Circles. They are different sizes. There's also one that's bigger. This is how big this one is. So I think they have another whole set that's bigger. And basically what you do is you cut the circle plus 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then you take a needle and thread and you stitch just a running stitch, regular stitches in the seam allowance. Put this back inside, then tighten up the stitches, and the fabric all forms around this. Then what you do is you use some liquid starch, put it on the very edges, press it down, pull this out, press it again, and there's your circle. And that one came out very nice. My last method was the one that I'm not very good at. It's called needle turn applique. I know that if I really, really want to learn how to use it, I'm going to have to practice a lot. So basically, you just cut the fabric, adding a seam allowance, draw a line where you want the circle to be, or the first size circle, and then you, with needle and thread, you turn under a tiny piece at a time, do a stitch, turn under a tiny piece, do a stitch, and then stitch all the way around. Well, I didn't get that even. I've got lumps of fabric that I didn't get evenly laid out. But like I said, there is beautiful examples of needle turn applique, and a lot of people use it. You don't have to prep anything ahead of time. So that is a real advantage to that, and you don't have to buy anything special. So those were the 6 methods that I actually did. The other 2 methods are machine stitched with raw edges. So you do a little zigzag around the edge of the applique. Or you can use the machine, do the same thing, little stitches, or you can do blanket stitches around a pre-prepared applique. So tons of methods. I spent all day working on them. But you know what? I learned a huge amount, and by the time I finished turning the last one, after I got through all of these and turned the edges on this one, I had already gotten better. So practice is what you have to do to get this right. So which one did I like the best? I actually liked the Karen K. Buckley Perfect Circles. I thought it was the most accurate. Yes, I did have to put the line of stitching inside and pull it around, but it only took like 2 minutes to do that. And then, yes, I did use starch. If you don't like starch, you can use spray sizing, and it'll basically do the same thing. Didn't take very long to dry. If you want to make your applique like permanent before you hand stitch it or machine stitch it, then you can use this glue. It's called Sue Daly, and it's actually applique glue, and you just put like a couple of dots, press your applique on, and it stays. Then you can take your fabric with you to stitch, or you can take it to the sewing machine. So where am I going from here? Now that I know which method that I like the best, the paper piece, perfect paper pieces, I ordered some more that were larger, because the largest one that came in the original package is only this big, which I believe is 2 inches. So it's only a 2-inch finished one. And I want them bigger. So they have a bigger perfect circles, and I ordered that from Amazon. And I should hopefully get that in a couple of days, and then I'll start actually making the quilt. It's just going to be a small one since this is the first time and I have lots of practice. So maybe like a wall hanging, maybe like 24 by 36. So I will be back when I have that done. If you have any questions about any of the methods or want more information, just please let me know. See you soon. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how to use the perfect circles. You stitch inside your seam allowance all the way around your circle, leaving your tail. Then what you do is you put the circle template that you want to use, and I've got about 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then you just pull and tighten up your circle. Go across the circle. I'm going to hold it, and it's pulled everything around your template. It works amazing, and it probably takes 2 minutes to do the stitching. Holding that thread, put some magic sizing or whatever kind of sizing, or starch, either way, in a little container. Get a little kid's paintbrush, dab it in, go around one side just in the seam allowance, and it's pretty wet. And don't worry about getting too much. Better a little too much than too little. Then your iron on medium or so, just place it down watching your finger and leave it on top of half of the circle. And the only reason I've let go of the thread is just to keep my hands out of the way of the iron. And probably 30-40 seconds. I keep checking it. I had to stop using my Liso iron because I couldn't leave it. It would keep popping up, but you can't just leave it. So now just tighten up that circle again and paint the other half of the fabric. Put your iron on that half, and then you definitely can let go of the thread. Making sure that it looks good on both sides, leave the iron long enough to dry out the starch. And that does take several minutes, so I leave it on for maybe 45 seconds, and then I take it off and I check it. And I want to make sure my iron doesn't think that I've left it forever, because if you do, then it just turns itself off, which is such a wonderful safety feature. Okay, so we're going to pretend like this was the one that I just did. And all you have to do is release your circle, just gently move it like this, pop out the template. You can retighten your circle just a tiny bit with the thread, and then just give it a nice press on both sides. You don't even have to take the stitching out. You can leave it, and there is a wonderful, perfect circle. I'm surprised how well it works, and it's really easy. So, back later. Well, I'm not quite finished with the quilt, but finished enough to show you how far I've gotten. So this has been one heck of a learning project. This background is grunge. I had bought it for something else and I thought, yeah, I'll try it. This is just kind of a practice for me. But I'll tell you, after making all these circles, I'm definitely much better. The applique part's very easy for me. I do it on my lap because Charlotte likes to sleep on my lap a lot. 16-and-a-half-year-old kitty, she wants to sleep on my lap. She gets to sleep on my lap. So I did a little extra border treatment just to make it have a little bit more interest. I think it finished about 26 by 38. So it'll just be a nice wall hanging. I just used all sorts of different fabrics. This one I fussy cut to get this little perfect design on it, and I actually used the Roxanne's glue, based it, and I would put a couple of drops, and so they're all stuck except for one I found on the floor this morning, which I knew I was missing something. So that probably was supposed to go there, except now I need to move it because it'll match that. But I may add some more circles after I get these all done. At least 3/4 are applique on, but I still have to finish all the rest. Now, my question for you guys is, should I put any circles or half circles in the outside border? I really want your opinion. I'm not sure whether I should or not. Is it going to make it too busy looking or what? I'm sure I've got enough of this left to bind it. So I will bind it in this, I don't even know what color that is, terracotta sort of. So if you want to make perfect circles, definitely the Karen K. Buckley. I was extremely impressed. I feel like I have accomplished something and I really enjoyed it. I have been working on this now, I think, almost an entire month to get it where it is. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Don't give up on new things. We got to keep going. Take care of yourself. Keep watching. Thank you so much.